Hey guys, it's Rachel from The Little Green Lamb, and today I have a book review on The Guineveres by Domet. And this book was so good, and I cannot wait to discuss in this video. If you're new to my book reviews or just a refresher, this book review will comprise of 5 parts: plot, characters, cover, suspense, and overall in terms of again very soon 5/5, not so soon 1 out of 5. Also, if you've yet to read this novel, don't fret because this review will be spoiler free, and if I am going to say some spoilers, which, who knows, I'll give you due warning so you can come back or you can stop the video so you don't get spoiled. So this book is about 4 girls named Guinevere, and they end up in this convent all for different reasons, and they're all young girls. This is kind of, it's a teen YA, but it goes into the future a bit, and then the past, like, something will happen, they'll be like, oh, this situation kind of happened, and then I talked about it later on with blank, later in life. And like it kind of explains what a bit happened to them. So it goes from the past to the present, but it's very little in the present. It's more stuck in the past. And this book, if I'm not mistaken, takes place around World War II. I was kind of getting those vibes, but it wasn't abundantly clear. And basically the Guineveres, they're living their humdrum lives and they're not really enjoying the convent. They all want to get out. And then one day 4 soldiers get brought in and they're all wounded and they're all concussed. I think that's the correct term, plural of concussion. Anyway, they can't communicate with the girls, but the girls tend to take care of them, and that's kind of when their lives change forever. And this book sounded so interesting to me, and I took a leap with it, and I really did end up enjoying it. So for plot, I give a 4 out of 5. Now, I was going to give it a 5 out of 5, but I felt like the synopsis on the inside of the flap kind of was a bit misleading because weaves together the Guinevere's past, present, and future, as well as the stories of the female saints they were raised. Oh yeah, past, present, and future, not just past. It's most on the present, sorry, and it goes the past more so than the future. But basically, kind of how the synopsis made it seem was that it was going to be an equal amount of past, present, future, or at least partly. But it wasn't an equal balance, which kind of upset me. The thing I really liked about this book, it was haunting, and I could see a soundtrack, like, like a kind of like a breathy, like, mysterious sounding singer. I think Flurry, that artist that my friend listens to a lot, I think that's the correct name. Like somebody who has a really breathy tone. It's like kind of like a whisper singing, like melodic soundtrack. I could see being the back to this if somebody was reading it. It's hauntingly beautiful, and the writing is really like you get sucked into the writing. It teaches like kind of about the saints and stuff like that, which I don't know much about because I'm not a religious person per se, but it's very interesting, especially if you don't know that. And it wasn't, also if you're worried about like being in a convent and stuff like that, like it does have some things about like saints and all that, but it's not like shoving it down your throat and being like you should like want the saintly life. Like some of the girls want to adhere to the saintly life and the other ones just know they can't, and or they don't want to. And it's not like religion in this book is being pushed at you that you should abide by religious practices and doctrine. So in case you're a little bit worried about that, it's not like that at all, because I know that sometimes is a concern for certain people who have different religious preferences, whether they be an atheist or like a devout follower of some type of godlike figure. Whichever religion you may be, I don't think this is an offensive like pushing religion at you. So I know that is sometimes a concern, so I thought I'd bring that to light. But this book, I really liked all the characters where they went through, but the only thing that, like, even the characters, their fates, because some of them I did not like the fates of, and it was just so heartbreaking and beautiful at the same time. And the one I'm talking about mostly is Vere. So they all go by nicknames, so going on to characters, I'm going to give the characters a 5 out of 5. I really liked these characters. So the main character is Vere. They're all named Guinevere. So Vere we have. Then we have Gwen, Ginny, and Win. So Vere is like the main character. She's our protagonist, and we follow her. And she's kind of like I'm going to give them all labels because then it'll make it easier for you to understand. So Vere is like the good girl. Gwen is like the, like, I don't want to be rude about this, but like she is described as like the pretty one. She's like the popular one. Ginny is the worrier, and she's always just worrying about stuff. And Win is the strong one. And throughout all this, I really loved all the characters. Like, even with them having the same name and their names all being close, you could easily differentiate between who they were talking to. The characters' names did not get muddled in my mind, which I really appreciate because sometimes, that can happen. And it was just all the characters I really loved, especially Gwen and Vere's. They get some time when they are together, and I really thought their relationship for the novel was one very interesting. If you've read this, I want to discuss for sure. don't be shy. Let's comment and talk about it. But I loved how their relationships all of each other and how they were a band together, and even the other characters in the books, even if they were side characters, you didn't get a lot about them, but it was just haunting. And that's the thing that I really liked about this book. They were mysterious, but you knew enough about them that I was like, you have a sentence backstory, and that's all I need to know about you. And that was kind of the vibe. Cover, I give a 5 out of 5. This cover is so beautiful. It's actually, if you watch my mid-year book freakout tag, I'm not sure if this could be posted before or after that, but I put this as my prettiest book cover of 2017 that I've, like, out of the books I've read. I just absolutely love it. It has a texture, and just it's such a pretty cover. And the inside is just a plain paperback, or not paperback, hardcover. It's like just a red with silver lettering. Suspense, I give a 4 out of 5. Now, it had me wanting to read all the time, but I did take a break from reading this for a little while, just because I was reading something else, and I was going to read something else, and I took a break for a while, and I was fine by that. But when I picked it up, I was addicted to it and wanted to get back to it. So I wanted to know what's going to happen, especially because, you know, these boys change their lives and they're in a concussion. You're like, when are they going to wake up? When's this going to happen? And this book has just stayed with me, the ending, so much. And I am flabbergasted. So I want to give it a 5 out of 5, but, like, I don't feel like it's a 5 out of 5. At the same time, I feel like it is. And I'm very confused about that. But I want to give it a 4 because there was stuff. I think I'm just getting, like, so emotional about the ending because it's very sad, but it's happy at the same time, and it's so conflicting. You feel so many things for these girls in this book, and it definitely evoked a lot of emotion out of me. And overall, I give this book a 5 out of 5. I'm definitely going to be rereading this in the future. Not sure when that's going to happen, but it's definitely one I'm going to have on my shelf for a long time now. Definitely one of the better books I've read this whole year. Yeah, there's just something a little bit off about it, not to give it a 5 out of 5, and I feel kind of bad about that, but there was something a bit off. There were a few slow parts, but for the most part, bad ending though. Yeah. So anyway, I really recommend you guys read The Guineveres by Sarah Domet. It's a really good, interesting book. I got this off Book Outlet. I'm not sure if it's still up there, just FYI, but it was a good one. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.